You're listening to Cross Rhythms. I'm joined in the studio by Matt Levett. Hi, Matt.
Hello, it's good to be in.
So, Matt, tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Matt Levett. I'm a musician, songwriter, creative person, all being, and of course a Christian. And I just love making music. I write and produce and record all my own music, and kind of use that in many different things. I'm a worship leader as well at my local church, and just in every way, very creative. I'm very interested in creative stuff. So I've released stuff online. I play live music, but I also help run workshops locally within a placement setting as well, and work with my local church in worship leading and encouraging young people in worship and music and all sort of those creative things. That's a bit of a general thing of what I'm up to and what I do.
No, great. So you mentioned you're a Christian, so tell us a little bit about your kind of journey, your testimony and all of that.
So I grew up in a Christian family. That's kind of the setting that I've grown up in, with a lot of my close family and kind of extended family all being Christian and being very much within this real culture of that. My dad was a youth worker. My mum was very involved in youth work and in lots of other ways, and very involved in church and being on kind of diaconate in our Baptist church and things like that. And so very immersed in everything church, and that culture really carried into my home and into my family, and wasn't just a Sunday thing, but was kind of a whole life thing. And so I think I just kind of very seamlessly just found that as something that I really resonated with and really wanted to be part of. When I was 13, I got baptized, or 14. But that was a really just step, again, just another step on that journey for me. It wasn't this big moment, but it was a distinct moment of kind of line in the sand to move forward and to keep at my faith and keep exploring that and seeing what that looks like. And so a mixture of kind of youth groups throughout my teens, and draw on this, the music, the playing music, listening to music, playing in bands, starting to lead worship, using music in my own devotional time as well, and learning guitar for that kind of purpose of just devotionally spending time with God and using music in that, has all just helped to grow me, I think. And leads me to a place now of studying theology, which both blows my mind and draws me into loving Jesus even more, and also draws me into lots of questions and doubting and faith and all that comes with that. And that also I get to use the music to explore and to really connect with God and to engage in questions and connect with other people as well through some of those questions and some of that journey. That's kind of a general way that I am, but now really love just local church and getting stuck in and being involved in what's happening there as well.
Nice. So you touched on the kind of playing in the worship bands, playing music. So was that church your kind of step into the kind of music stuff, or were you always a very musical person? Do you come from a musical family?
It was very much sort of my first experience of music in a lot of those kind of ways, and of playing music certainly. So my parents were somewhat musical. My dad played trumpet, my mum played flute. It wasn't it wasn't like they were playing it all the time, but they loved music, and you could tell that. And my dad, as a youth worker, was always encouraging his young people when he was a youth worker to get involved in the worship band, to play something a bit more rowdy, to get the electric guitars out and all of those things. And so he was a real empowerer of young people in music. And so I think me and my siblings all felt that, and we very much got very stuck in. And, I learned drums when I was 10, so that was kind of my avenue into music, really. From that age, was kind of going to these festivals that we got taken to. So a mix of local music festivals that weren't Christian, but that my parents and my church had a real presence at, in prayer tents and spiritual tents.
Okay.
But also to things like Big Church Day Out and the big Christian festivals and Creation Fest and things like that, where I got to, again, be in awe of these incredible musicians, Switch for Third Day, all of them good guys, and that kind of inspiring me as well to want to play. My brother plays bass, and he learned a little bit after me, I think, started playing bass. My sister was already playing guitar at that point, and very much grew up with this kind of musical thing and exploring all sorts of music, whether from my dad saying, here's a Lecrae album, to Toby Mac, here's a bit of Switchfoot, all these different genres, but really empowering that, I suppose. So that very much formed me massively. And then playing in church was kind of the next stepping point. Quite fairly soon into playing drums, I got involved in church and rocked up with my electric drum kit and played along, and they were very gracious and loved having me part of that. My sister was already kind of singing in the band, and my brother later came and kind of joined on bass, along with other young people around us who were playing guitar and singing and different things. And I think that formed a really important part of learning to play with other people as well. And they were the first kind of bands that I played in that sense. And as I went into college and things, I played bits of bands, but a lot of the way through, that's been a lot of my live music, particularly in a band context. But then kind of through that gave me the platform of doing my own stuff.
Nice, yeah.
That's when I first kind of started writing songs within a worship context. And then that kind of was the starting point, I suppose. Yeah. And then the journey that followed was one of exploring deeper than that and into a local music scene and into what it looked like just me and a guitar, which kind of where I've landed now, I suppose.
Great. Well, that's a good place. We shall stop for some music and be back with Matt after this. And we're back. That was All These Hellish Beings by Matt Levett, who I'm joined in the studio via the power of Zoom. So, Matt, tell us about the song. What went into it? What inspired it?
Yeah. So I think this song was quite a quick turnaround song. Some of my songs have taken a very long time to write. Some of my best ones, I'd say, have taken like 2-3 years writing over time. They're kind of things that I keep working at. This was not one of them. This was a very quick one. And it was kind of inspired by a very random little thing. I think it was a video that I'd just seen on my Instagram feed that had just popped up, and it was this whole idea, and it was just talking about kind of spiritual warfare idea. But the reflection that this person was having was, this idea that, if you're sat reading your Bible and you feel tired, that's the demons at you, and that's this idea. And that was not something that I particularly was familiar with and was a bit odd. And this was just a reflection on that. And it's not, kind of saying one thing's right or one thing's wrong, but it was just my honest reflection on what's this idea of being what's tired, what's mental health, and what's demons, and this kind of wrestling. So it's not a resolved song, but it's just this reflection on what does Jesus say to those who are tired and those who are weary? And is there something deeper here? And so this idea, the spirit of peace. I told him, the first lyric being, as we just heard, I told him I'm tired. He told me I have company. And this kind of twisting of words. And I really just love, it really flowed. And I think you see that in the way the song's written. It's just the flow throughout this song. There kind of has these quite different sections, and it's not a very regular song structure. There's no kind of real chorus because they're two very different choruses lyrically, but it just flowed. And I think I've really loved those songs that have come out of that. And so the production has kind of come from that as well. I literally just finished writing it and went, I need to record this.
Nice, yeah.
First song kind of on this album that I'm working out, it's coming to the end of being finished, but it's probably the last one that I wrote. I wrote it and I went, I'm recording it, and I recorded it. I went, this sounds great, I've got to get it out.
Nice.
Got it out sort of early December, and that was kind of a very quick process. And I can very much overthink that, so that was really nice to have something that went out really quick.
Yes,
I think as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of process behind that song. And a lot of the reflections are quite similar to the rest of the kind of album project, and just these kind of questions of faith and just asking and being inquisitive. About a lot of those things, and this one certainly doesn't end anywhere any more than actually Jesus is, the spirit of peace is here, and Jesus is the spirit of peace, and that is something to comfort in. So if anything, it's that comfort amongst that kind of questioning.
Nice, yeah. And so kind of with this song and kind of with your music in general, kind of what's your process in making it? Are you the kind of person that comes with the lyrics first? Do you come with the music? Do you kind of do it together? Or is it some weird fourth option?
I don't know what the fourth option would be, but I generally, I think lyrics. I generally have something, like I was saying, I kind of had this thing of I don't even really remember, a lot of it. I can barely think about what I actually did. And sometimes I listen back to voice notes to work out what actually happened in that moment when I wrote it. But really, it was this idea lyrically, this kind of theme that I had, and that was what kind of drove it forward. And so often as I come with lyrics, I think in this context that I was sat with a guitar writing it. So sometimes I'm literally just sat on a bus or sat outside somewhere with a notebook or whatever it might be, and it's just kind of scribbles of lyrics, and it's kind of poems. Later I kind of find the melodic themes for. But this was much more kind of one and, both of them really. It was kind of lyrical, and the melody then moved it forward, and they both kind of came at the same time and, helped it to happen. And I think you can kind of see that. I think the melody I really like the melody in this one. I think it's really strong, and sometimes it can be slightly more rhythmic, but this is certainly quite melodic, and I think that's a result of that. But certainly for me, the lyrics are like the heart of everything.
Nice, yeah.
And stuff that some of which comes in the songs and some of which doesn't, and yeah, so for me that's the kind of important bit, and that's where most songs start. Really, including this one, was on a real strong kind of conviction or theme or something that I want to kind of explore, get across.
Nice, cool. And so quickly, just as we end this, if you want to see Matt live, he will be performing at Greenbelt. Do you know which stage, what time yet? Or is that still...
It is, so I'll be playing as part of the Fringe stage, so that's kind of a really exciting stage that they have run before, but they're running again this year for just upcoming artists. So it was a pleasure to be kind of knocked down from, I think it was 150 submissions they said, and I've playing the stage, so that's a real honour, and really lovely to play. So I'll be playing on the Saturday at 4, I believe it is. On that stage. Yeah.
And if you do want to meet Matt and have a chat with him about his music and songwriting, he will also be at Creation Fest this year. And you touched on it a little bit, but you do have an album in the process. Do you have a date for that yet, or is it still kind of in the future?
It is still in the future. It should be out by the end of this year, end of 2024. Nice. It should be the goal. So keep an eye on that.
Cool. Yeah. And so yes, if our listeners want to keep an eye on that, where can they find you on socials and music?
Yeah, so everything Matt Levett Music, MattLevett. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those good things. And then Spotify, there's music out there already if you want to listen to it. The song that was just played, the All These Hellish Beings, plus other ones and older stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and hopefully in the next few months the new stuff will pop up as well. But yeah, that'd be really cool.
Well, thank you for joining us, Matt.
That's all right. It's great to be here. Thank you.